A year ago today, I made a huge decision that changed my life forever. That I was going to move 13 hours away from home, away from my friends, away from my family, and start a whole new chapter in Thailand. Guys, when I tell you, it is an undescribable feeling that's just honestly so difficult to put into words. To be so petrified of what's on the other side, only to discover that I had nothing to worry about. That there were more friends waiting for me and communities that felt like family. It's freeing, it's liberating, and honestly, the best thing that I could have ever done for myself. And I urge you all to do the same. I urge you to take that leap and go on that solo trip if it's on your mind, because I'm confident that it will change your life too.
So, Word on the Street says that you want to take a solo trip, but you don't know where to start. And you're letting fear get in the way. And you're letting all your doubts get in the way. I was in your position about a year ago. I didn't know where to start. I didn't know what to do. And yes, there's loads of videos on YouTube about like packing and what to bring and, you know, pros and cons. But like, I feel like I needed that step-by-step guide. I've been getting thousands of questions on TikTok about like various things and how do you do it? How do you get started? I'm just so scared. And so I'm just basically here to make all the videos that I would have needed back in the days. How to get past the initial feelings and actually start putting in the work and making that guide and that plan to actually making it happen, because when it happens, guys, trust me, you're not gonna regret it. So yeah, that's what I'm here to do. So let me just give you guys a bit of context before we get started. About a year ago, I was 19 years old. I just graduated from college and I was just a bit like lost in life. I was like, I don't know what to do. In my gap year, I went to quite a few countries. I think I went to like 9 places last year. Wow, that's crazy, me saying that out loud. I don't even know how I did it, but I had that travel bug, but I never took that big leap to actually get out of the country and go somewhere by myself. I don't know why. Thailand has just been somewhere that I've always been called to, and now that I had that freedom, I didn't have school anymore, I was just like this free spirit who didn't have any responsibilities or anything attached to me. I was like, I'm gonna take advantage of this, and yeah, let's do it. So I packed my bags and I moved to Thailand for nearly 3 months, so about 2 months, and it was the best time of my fucking life, guys. And by the way, I'm gonna have like timestamps linked in this video, so like if you want to just skip a certain part and go to like a certain part, I'm gonna have my little chapters in the video so that you can just like navigate it yourself. But we're gonna start with the fear. So when it comes to planning a trip, it can be very, very daunting. It's like, where do I even start? What do I have to do? How do I, you know, figure things out? The whole thing is about getting started, and I'm here to tell you that you just have to start. You know, you actually just have to start. I'm going to tell you that you really, in order to get started, you really need to kind of get that fear out of the way. You've kind of been in this whole environment for your entire life. I'm just basically speaking based off of my own experience, but it's like you've been in this whole environment. This is your comfort zone. For me, the UK is my comfort zone. I have my people here, I have my family here, and so when it comes to actually moving to a whole nother place, it's like, what is there? Like, there's so many questions because this is all you know. But I need you to kind of switch that fear around and turn it into excitement. This is something that I've actually been doing a lot recently when it comes to just putting myself out there, coming out of my comfort zone. Fear can stop you a lot, but if you kind of just readjust that fear and look at it with a new perspective and turn it into excitement, like, what is out there for me? Who am I gonna meet? Well, I could meet the love of my life out there, you know, I could meet my soulmate out there. You know, you kind of just have to trick yourself in a way. Make a promise with yourself that like, okay, we're doing this now, there's no going back. And once you've made that deal with yourself, you gotta keep that promise. You gotta keep that trust in yourself. And a lot of the time as well, I've got this question a lot on TikTok is like, how do you afford this? How do you afford this? I do acknowledge that, you know, I was in quite a privileged position to just like pack up and leave, because I didn't have anything attached to me at the time. I didn't have to think about things like crazy rent that I would have to do, or like where I'm gonna put my things in my apartment. Some people have to like put their things into storage while they're gone. However, if you're in the same position as me, you have to take advantage of this period of your life, because I guess as you get older, you're going to have these sort of responsibilities that's kind of going to limit you. Think about your priorities and make traveling a priority if that's something that you want to do. When I would, you know, get paid every month, I would have like you know, like a general saving. I would have like my priority saving, where like that would just be like my little bills, my rent, my Spotify payments, my phone bill payments, all these little things. And then I would have like my general savings for things that I want to just like get every now and again. And then I would have my travel savings, and every month I would just put like a sum of money into my travel savings. When it comes to like experiences, money comes and goes. Do with that information what you will. I'm not really going to talk about the money situation too much, but you know, it's pretty self-explanatory. Save, make it happen, because you really can if you really want to. And then the last thing I'd want to say just before you get started in the planning is your intentions. Guys, this is really important, especially if you're going to be going for quite a while. I think setting an intention is really important, just to kind of navigate your way through the trip. For me anyways, when I was abroad and I went out and I was traveling for 2 months, it might not sound like a long time for some people, but it feels like a very long time when you're kind of alone and you're kind of just like living the free life, and like there's not really any structure unless you're actually going out there to do something like a yoga training or something like that. Now, an intention is an intention. Any intention is valid. My intention for taking this big leap was to find myself. I think a lot of the time people do travel for that reason, but it's like you need to get a bit more specific. What does finding yourself look like? How will you embody that finding yourself? You know, will you know, feel more confident in certain areas of your life, in social areas of your life, being alone with yourself? If you're like more of an extrovert than an introvert, will finding yourself look like being more comfortable being alone and being more comfortable in your own energy? You know, how will that look for you? So any reason is valid, but just kind of get specific on what your intention will do for you. So once you've gotten all the fear out of the way and you've set your intentions, you're ready for stage 2, baby, which is the action plan. You can finally get your itinerary ready, and this is like one of the best things. It's really exciting, and it's really like, if you are struggling to figure out where you want to go for your first solo trip, Thailand, you guys, like Thailand, that's what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna link my itinerary down below for you guys if you guys just need a bit more guidance in terms of like what you want to do and things like that. One thing I would say when it comes to your itinerary is that a lot of the time people will recommend things to do in a certain country, but if you don't want to do that, if that doesn't resonate with you, then don't do it. This is a very personal experience. This is something that you're doing for yourself, and so do things that resonate with you. Like for me, I love cooking, so I was doing a bunch of cooking classes. I love meditation, so I was doing a bunch of retreats. But if that doesn't resonate with you, don't do it, regardless of if everyone else is saying to do it. But one thing that I would definitely tweak if I was to do that again is leave room for curiosity. Like leave a room for like the what ifs, you know. And I think it's really good to like do your itinerary and just have that structure there. I think I just did about half of the things that were on my itinerary, purely because I met so many people while I was out there, and they would be like, oh, we're going to like this waterfall today, do you want to come with us? And I'd be like, yeah, why not, you know. The room that I left for curiosity and for like spontaneity, those were the best memories that I made, and those were the times where I met the best people as well. So yeah, just it's kind of like the yin and yang, you know, plan but not too much. I don't really want to go too much into things like my itinerary as well, because I think there's a lot of videos on YouTube where you can like kind of go into that in more detail. This is kind of like a general guide, but for things on your itinerary that you want to kind of consider is things like your budget, of course. I'm a hot girl. I'm like a baddie. I wouldn't even call myself a baddie. I'm a hot girl. I like to be clean. I like the settings I'm staying in to be clean. However, I also have this very hippie side of me where I'm gonna like walk barefoot to the shop, which is what I was doing in Thailand. So you have to kind of consider the type of traveler that you are as well. I don't really mind like sleeping in a bungalow that's made out of bamboo. There was a time where like I was literally sleeping in a hostel that had ants in the bed. I mean, that was definitely not ideal. Like, I did not want that, but times were tough in that moment, so I was just like, well, I'm gonna have to do it. I literally got to Pai, and which was like a nice little small village, and everywhere was sold out. This was the only hostel left, of course, because there was ants in the bed, but you know, desperate times call for desperate measures. So you kind of want to consider if you're like a more bougie traveler, if you're like the more chill traveler. That's really going to determine your budget. So I was staying in hostels most of the time, and then I would book a hotel every now and again just to like recharge and like clear my thoughts, you know, and just figure out where I'm going. If you're that type of traveler, I'd say that your budget is of course going to be a bit lower than someone who wants to stay in hotels most of the times or get a private room in a hostel. If you are solo traveling, I'm going to tell you this: stay in hostels, guys. Don't be that girl to book a private room in a hostel. And hostels are actually really nice. Like, anyways, for me anyways, I can only speak for Thailand because that's the place that I was by myself, but oh, they're actually cute. Like, you can get some bougie ass hostels, I'm not gonna lie. You can get the really cute hostels with like the curtains for your privacy, and yeah, it's just really cool. When I first got to Thailand as well, I was booking only female hostels. However, I will say that the mixed dorms is where all the spice goes down. The mixed dorms is where I met the best people. I feel like the mixed dorms are just like a lot more chill people who are like they don't really care. If I was staying in a mixed dorm, the hostel needed to have a curtain. Like, that was a make or break for me. You know, when you first get there, I know it can be very daunting, so book that female dorm. But like, don't sleep on the mixed dorms, guys, because in my experience anyways, they are cool. They're really fun. Yeah, you want to think about the laws in the country as well. Things like how you can dress there, you know. You want to think about things like visas as well. Make sure that you go out of your way to learn about the laws and learn about the cultures. Like, make an effort, because you're stepping into someone else's territory. So make an effort to integrate yourself into that and to be respectful. Also, the best times to go to these places, I think a lot of the times people sleep on that. They're just like, oh yeah, I want to go to this place, let's go. Guys, I caught a lung infection because I was in Thailand during burning season, which means that I was inhaling so much smoke. So yeah, just consider these things, you know. They're like little things but big things at the same time. Okay, so I kind of had to change the angle because the sun is setting, but yeah, that's kind of like your action plan. So you've gotten your itinerary, you've gotten like where you want to go, the culture, your visas, your budget, and all of that. And now I want to talk about something that is actually really important. And I know a lot of the time, like, I do say, oh my god, like, just do it, like, just do it. It seems like very just like carefree and all of that, but like, I was being very cautious while I was abroad, as you do. When it comes to things like safety, you are basically like the only person you have to rely on. Don't do anything abroad that you wouldn't do in your hometown. I'm just a big advocate for like trusting your body and trusting your gut. If it doesn't feel right, then it's probably not right. Like, you don't want to go and then find out why you shouldn't have gone. And sometimes, like, for me anyways, it can kind of be hard to know if something's just like you overthinking something, or if it's your gut feeling. When it's your gut feeling, you always feel it here. It's kind of like your gut feeling is that small voice within. When you're overthinking, or like when it's anxiety, the voice is very loud, you know. It's kind of like, oh yeah, I don't know, I should, but I don't know. The fact that you're trying to even convince yourself that you should means that there's something within you telling you that you shouldn't. Just try and tap into that gut feeling and that inner voice that's telling you maybe I shouldn't, and just listen to it, trust me. I would also say, you know, carrying as little as possible. When it comes to like staying in hostels, I can only speak for the hostels, but normally you would get to the hostel and they would give you like your own locker. Make sure you bring your own locks as well, because a lot of them don't provide you with that. But yeah, you would get your own locker. So when I was going out, especially at night, I would basically leave everything in that locker, and I would take like maybe like a 10% of the money that I have, not even, like just like a couple, like scrands of money that I'm gonna need for that night out. Anything that you would be like devastated about if it was to be taken away from you, don't bring it out. Like when people were bringing their passports out, I was like, are you crazy? Like that is literally your means of getting home. Don't do it, girl, don't do it. I would also just bring a little fanny pack as well when it comes to like going out, just because it would be stuck to me. I also carried a alarm. I don't know if you guys know what that is, but it's basically I do have it on me, actually, let me show you. It's more for like drawing attention to you if you're in danger. So I'm gonna, yeah, it's very loud. If anything happens to you, you can pull that, and if like no one's paying attention to you at the time and you pull it, it just grabs everyone's attention. So it's like, oh, what's happening? Like, where's that sound coming from? It will draw attention to that, to like what's happening around, and then hopefully someone can come and help you. So just think about what will make you feel safe and do whatever you need to do. Also, when it comes to your dressing, blend in with the culture, you know, just blend in with the locals. Doesn't matter what I wear, I would never blend in no matter where I go, but I still tried my hardest to kind of do whatever I could to not draw attention to myself. And another really important thing as well is that when you're posting, don't put your location on the story. Like, I don't know how to explain this. When you put your location on like an Instagram story, everyone in that location will be able to see where you are. If I'm like abroad and I'm like in Bali or something and I tag Bali, everyone in Bali will be able to see where I am. And so if there's like a serial killer out there who lives in Bali and knows Bali very well, they could see like where I am or a specific area and be like, oh, she's there. I don't want to put that out into the universe, but like that's like an example. So what you need to do is go into the posting bit where you're just about to post it, put the location there, screenshot it, delete the original post, get that post, and then like put it back on the post. And when you post it, it means that the location won't be active now because it's just a screenshot of that. It just basically just enables you to like post where you are without people around you being able to see where you are as well. But my advice anyways would just be to not tag where you are. Like, don't take the risk, or tag where you are after you've left that place. So like when I was in Bangkok, I would only post I was in Bangkok until I was in like Pai, and then I would only post when I was in Pai when I'm like in the south. So like you can just like stagnate your posts so that if anyone sees it, you're not even there anyway. So yeah, I think when it comes to making friends, this is very daunting for people. For me anyways, I thought I was always an introvert who was just like more, you kind of come with like a formula when it comes to speaking to people when it's abroad. A lot of the conversations would go like this: hi, I'm Shay. They'll be like, hi, and then I'll be like, oh, where are you traveling from? I'm from the Netherlands. Where are you from? Oh, I'm from the UK. Oh, that's so cool. How long are you traveling for? I'm traveling for this long, blah blah blah. And then, you know, that's like a cool conversation starter, just to get like a kind of grasp on like who each other are. And then like you gotta put yourself out there. Just be like, oh, do you want to get like coffee or something? I would also say staying in hostels, like I mentioned before, doing excursions, so like group activities where you can meet people, just putting yourself in public settings. So I would just like go to the beach and bring my journal, bring a book, but also make it clear that I'm open. So like if I see someone who's like same age, similar vibe as me, just like smile. You know, smiling can go such a long way. Just like smiling at someone and just be like, you know, just to show them, it's just a nice little indicator that you are open. Be very open. Don't just speak to people who you think that are like your vibe. I think one of the closest friends that I made out there was a 35-year-old woman. who does not look anything like my vibe, but I was so open and so desperate at the start of my trip to just meet people that she ended up being like a really good friend of mine. So just be very open. There are also some apps that you can go on beforehand as well that can kind of enable you to meet some people. I actually booked all my hostels through Hostel World. Once you've booked it, they will have like a hostel chat on there for like all the people who are staying there already or are gonna be staying there, and a lot of people will be like, oh hey, like who's staying here today, who's that today, and then people will reply, I am, okay, let's meet here, you know, or who's going to the jungle party tonight, and then I am, okay, let's go together. And that's like a really good way to meet people. I remember when I got to a hostel, literally the hostel chat, the first thing I saw was like, oh hey guys, I'm leaving the country and I've got 5 grams of shrooms left, who wants it? And then that was like a great conversation starter for some people. And if you're going to be traveling for like a longer period, I know that like apps like Workaway are also really good, and I know that also World Packers is also really good. You can help out at a hostel or like help out at any type of center, whether that's like a yoga retreat center, a hostel, or like helping just like build something, I don't even know, but you just help them out in exchange for free food and free accommodation. I've never actually secured a spot like a Workaway or anything like that, but I know that it is really good for that. So my camera is really about to die right now, oh my gosh, so I'm just going to give you guys like some bonus tips just before I leave. The first thing that I wrote down is like to learn about the culture. I think that's really important. The locals, they just really appreciate it when someone's shown that they've gone out of their way to learn about the culture and learn the language. I would say journal about your experience, because reading back on it is just like such a nostalgic experience, and like you can show it to your kids one day, to your partner. It's a really good way to stay grounded as well while you're out there. So yeah, definitely journal about your experience, or keep some type of documentation about your experience. Make some time for yourself to reflect. When I was abroad, it was very easy for me to just like go out every day with people because I was meeting so many people. There were times where I would literally have to make time for me to just be alone and to like take in my experience. So definitely, I know it can be scary, but make some time. Make some alone time. Take as many photos as you can. I know that people are like, live in the moment, but like you can, and then put it away. Document everything as much as you can, because I don't know, I'm such a nostalgic person, so it's really important for me to just look back on my experience and be like, Stay in touch with your friends as well that you make abroad. A lot of the time, like you can just meet them and then never speak to them again, especially if they were like some really cool people. And like a bonus thing about this as well is that like if you want to go to somewhere that they live, you can hit them up in the future and be like, hey, can I stay with you? And it's just like free accom, and also like you can reconnect with them again, and it's just like a nice little, it's like a nice little gesture, a nice little thing for you both. Do things that you normally wouldn't do. Take advantage of the fact that no one knows you. Nobody knows you, like you're across the world. Take advantage of that and do things that you wouldn't normally do. If you want to like test out something, test that thing out. If you want to work on your confidence, be that confident person, you know, embody all these things that you want to do, because like no one knows you. Okay guys, so my camera is actually gonna die now, so I'm gonna end the video here. But if you've gotten this far, I hope that this video has helped you in some type of way. I want you guys to comment down below where you're going to be going on your next solo trip or on your first solo trip, and also what your intentions are, like what are you planning to get out of this trip. I'm really curious. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and yeah, I hope to see you guys soon.